I went mega viral on this app for talking about leaving a toxic and abusive relationship and what that looked like. It's my first pinned video. It's got 11 million views. I want to talk about these two women, Chrishell and Emma. Now, unfortunately, Emma has a personality type that is ride or die. We saw this in previous seasons with her and Chrishell. Unfortunately, when you have loyalty like that, that is a trait that these type of men will look for in women. In the viral video I posted, I talked about how these men specifically will have issues with your friends who do not enable their behavior. And this is why her partner specifically said and did things in front of Chrishell that she would not be okay with. And I've said this before, you need to stop giving men the benefit of the doubt, thinking that they're not intelligent enough to know which buttons to push. It's very obvious what makes Chrishell unhappy. It's not very hard to understand what comments you could make that would bother Chrishell. She's very upfront about her boundaries. When you hear about men isolating women from their support network, from their friends and family, one of the things that people tend to think is that these men are talking shit about your friends or your family to you specifically and making those people look bad. But this is what I actually see happening more frequently. It's happened in friendships I've had. It's happened with my ex. They will say problematic things or things that they know will get under the skin of the person that is in your friend group or in your family. And then they will deny. And this goes in part with the gaslighting and the love bombing. They will make it seem like it was just an innocent comment. They didn't realize that would upset them. I can't believe, but they make these snide, underhanded compliments so strategically and so underhanded that they have plausible deniability. It's the, oh, pronouns are these things that I don't really understand. We don't use them where I'm from. We all have internet access. We all know what pronouns are. We all know that people use pronouns, especially right-wing people. It's half of what they run on. So he's trying to use plausible deniability. He's trying to say, I just had no idea. And as we saw in the reunion, Chrishell goes, no, like I'm from there too. You definitely know what these things are. But if you're not from that area, like Emma, you're gonna be like, yeah, no, like people just don't know. So he is using that plausible deniability to gaslight Emma, but it doesn't work on Chrishell because Chrishell knows. And this is how they drive wedges between your friends and your family. It's not directly calling your friends bitches and being upfront and forward with how they're isolating you. That isolation is strategic. It's by causing rifts between your friendships and then reinforcing those rifts. So Chrishell rightfully is upset. She makes a comment on social media. He most likely latched onto that because now Chrishell has made a mistake in his eyes, in Emma's eyes, and he can weaponize that mistake. Even though he has made a plethora of problematic, harmful comments leading up to this, he finally has something he can use against her. And he will dig into that. There was at one point a time when me and my sister had a disagreement and my husband was like, why would you ever talk to her again? Like what she said, what she did is just such an issue. And it's like, she's my family. We have disagreements. And it actually wasn't that big of an issue, but he tried to reinforce how big of an issue that thing was in an attempt to create a larger divide between us. And this is how they isolate you. And this is so strategic. And someone like him, right? Because he's so good at manipulating, but so golden retriever in person, dumb. He tries to play off, I'm just so stupid. I'm just so unintelligent. I'm just so tee-hee when he meets people that they think there's no way that he's smart enough to manipulate like this. And they pray that you think that they are not smart enough to orchestrate all of this. But it's very textbook. Chrishell did the only thing she could do, which is draw boundaries. And again, they will lean into that. They will lean into boundaries being offensive. And the thing is that he has so heavily gaslit Emma because everything Chrishell was saying is verifiable via the internet, via his own social media account. As I said in that viral video I made, the only people they will be okay with you keeping around are people who reinforce their narrative, who think that his behavior isn't outlandish. But what he will do as well is not be problematic around those people. And this is what they call flying monkeys. They are people who will jump to this man's defense because when they're around him, he is on his best behavior. And he does this intentionally, so he has plausible deniability. Again, it's all manipulation. What's really gonna be hard for Emma is coming to terms with the fact that this man has altered her perception of reality. Coming out of one of those relationships, your sense of self and your sense of what actually happened and what is true reality is the hardest thing to overcome because they will make you question your version of events. The same way that he's making everyone question Chrishell's version of event, even though we have evidence on the internet, videos of him on screen displaying questionable at best behavior and comments.